Good morning. Thanks for joining us at 5900 Wilshire, the name of this show and the home of 100.3 The Sound, Southern California's classic rock. At the moment, we are talking about LA Beats Cancer and how you can enjoy an evening of cocktails for a cure. That's coming up on August 17th at Hyde Sunset Lounge. And with us is Philip Tate, and he's going to talk about his story. He's the founder of LA Beats Cancer. This is in his wife's memory, his beautiful wife. Tell us about your family, Philip. Tell us about your wife, Liz, and your son, Lucas, and how this all came about.
Well, first, thank you for having me. I appreciate you helping us spread the word. Second, with Liz, I lost Liz to cancer about a year ago. Liz was an amazing person. Just to give you kind of the brief background on her, she was born in Krakow, Poland. Mm-hmm. She came here when she was 8. Her father led the Solidarity movement in Krakow. He was arrested by the secret police, put on death row. No one would speak against him, so he was released on the condition that they leave the country. They came here. They were on welfare while her parents re-earned their degrees because it was the Cold War. No one would accept a communist degree. And they came during the summer, so Liz learned English watching Spider-Man cartoons and reruns of Dallas.
No, that's a fun way to learn English. So she comes from a family of fighters because that's what she was. She's very determined. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She, her earliest memories are the political organizing in her living room, tanks rolling down the street during martial law, standing in bread lines, soldiers tear gassing them, the true stuff of movies.
Right. It's incredible, the story of what her family went through, and then they got here.
Yeah. And, she's the personification of the American dream. She comes here as a political refugee, and she's on welfare. She works hard. She gets through school. Worked while in high school, got good grades, went to Davis UC Davis on scholarships, moved to DC to work on Capitol Hill, and eventually realized that, that she was only going to get so far in politics without an advanced degree. Mm-hmm. So she moved to Los Angeles to go to UCLA for law school. And that's where the two of us met. At the keg on the lawn, she was pumping, I was pouring.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go.
And so, Liz is, she's an incredibly social and outgoing person. And so every year for her birthday, I would throw this party for her we called it Lizapalooza. Mm-hmm. And, it became a big deal. And, we'd have like 70 or 80 people in the backyard or out on the beach or wherever we were doing it that year. When Liz got diagnosed, she wanted to evolve it into a fundraiser for breast cancer research. And so that's what we did. And so this event, the Cocktails for a Cure, LA Beats Cancer, it's a continuation of the fight that she wanted to carry out, but that she's no longer able to carry out.
She sounds just so very determined from the beginning, throughout
Right.
her whole life, the way that she did things. She fought this cancer with everything she had, just like she'd done in the past with everything she did before.
Yeah, so Liz got diagnosed in May of 2013, just 100 days after our first and only son, Lucas, was born. And she was diagnosed with stage 4 triple negative breast cancer, which is about as aggressive as a cancer as there is, very low survivability. At the time that she was diagnosed, it had already metastasized pretty much throughout her entire body. Liz was one of the healthiest people I knew. She worked out 5 or 6 times a week. She ate very healthy. She always went to the doctor regularly for checkups. She did all the self-exams. She did everything right. Mm-hmm. It was just incredibly bad luck. No family history, nothing. And, she went from running on the treadmill to about 2 or 3 weeks later, she couldn't walk without an oxygen tank.
So it's a really aggressive cancer.
It's a very aggressive cancer. And her oncologist later told me at the time of diagnosis, it was the worst case she had ever seen in her career, and that the UCLA oncology department as a whole was kind of surprised that she could walk in under her own power given the tumor burden. And, on the one hand, it's kind of how bad can your luck be? But on the other hand, it's actually a really good example of how strong of a fighter Liz was and how strong of a person she was, that she's kind of defying the medical odds and walking in under her own power when she's pretty much just comprised of tumors at that point. She fought and hung on for 13 more months, and she defied those odds. I think had the doctors given us you have X amount of time to live, I think they would have pegged it at less than a month. And she got 13, and she did a lot with it. And she bonded with Lucas, and she got to see him take his first steps, and she got to be there for his first birthday party, and, you know, a number of really meaningful things. And we got it because, one, the doctors at UCLA took incredible care of her, and two, because of the treatment options that have come about in the last 5 or 10 years, that had this happened 5 or 10 years previously, it probably only would have been a month. But new treatments are coming every day, and new techniques for treating are coming every day.
And you mentioned to me that that is the priority for you, because the treatment options and research, that's what you need at these late stages. You've gone through so much, and now you're helping other people, and you've got goals already for how much you're going to be donating.
Right.
You're donating right now to UCLA.
Right. Yeah, so we set up the organization, and, you know, Liz's whole life was about defying odds. You know, she grew up on welfare as a political refugee. She should not have been the in-house counsel for a publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. Like, that should not have been where she ended up statistically, but it is. You know, she shouldn't have gotten into UC Davis. She shouldn't have gotten into UCLA. She shouldn't have worked for congressmen and senators. You know, when she passed away, I was getting letters from congressmen, from Barack Obama, from, you know, you name it, and I got the condolence letters from city council adjourned in her memory. That's incredible.
It really
for
is,
a 38-year-old to have accomplished from where she started, and it was all self-created. You know, it wasn't Dad's connections at the country club. It was her. So despite the odds, despite that triple-negative breast cancer is one of the deadliest cancers you can get, we never believed that she would die from this until the last week. We thought she was going to beat it. And so the first year, she decided that she was going to turn her birthday into a fundraiser for cancer research. And in the couple months we had, we organized an event, raised about $20,000 for breast cancer research. And, you know, we talked about next steps, about growing it, about turning it into kind of the social event to go to, and where it becomes the kind of thing where people are competing to get to sponsor it because they want to put their name in front of the types of people who are in the room. You know, these are the people with the disposable income and the tastemakers and whatever. And we talked about, okay, who do we need to get involved? And so in 2014, she passed away in June, and I just didn't have the bandwidth to try to do anything that year. But towards the end of 2014, I started talking with some of my friends, and Liz's friends, our mutual friends, and they all said, yeah, we need to try to put this together for 2015. It's what Liz would want, and it's what Liz would do. And frankly, she'd be pissed at us if we didn't. And so we started reaching out to the kinds of people who could help us then get the sponsorships. And, you know, because Liz and I come from a political background, we reached out to the politicians. And I reached out to Mayor Garcetti and all the members of the LA City Council. And it was amazing how quickly and positively they all responded. They were all phenomenal. I don't even know that there was a second of pause from when I asked Mayor Garcetti if he would help to him saying yes. You know?
So you have Mayor Garcetti behind this, and then also you've got some council members and Assembly member Richard.
Yeah, we've got
Bloom.
Assembly member Richard Bloom. We've got all of the members of the LA City Council.
In fact, the top floor here is behind you.
Yeah.
You know, 5900 Wilshire, where the sound is. And
SBE.
SBE. They manage hotels.
SBE has been phenomenal. When I approached SBE, they, without a moment of hesitation, said absolutely. They're giving us use of Hyde Sunset Lounge on August 17th. It's a phenomenal space. If you've never been there, it's just gorgeous.
But tell us a little bit about the event. It's Cocktails for a Cure.
You know, we didn't want to do the rubber chicken dinner. We wanted something that was more kind of Liz's style. And so, you know, Liz loved a good party. So the idea is it's a cocktail party at a hip, fun bar. We've got a DJ who's donating their services. SBE's donating the food. They've worked with their liquor sponsors to donate the drinks. They've been phenomenal. They've donated a package, hotel and dinners for us to auction off. There will be an auction. We're looking at trying to get that online so we can reach a broader audience with the auction. Once we have that up, if you either go to labeatscancer.org or follow us on Twitter at LA Beats Cancer, the details will be there. You know, Liz was also really good friends with this artist, Mariah Robertson. She's a very hot artist in Brooklyn. She's been in the Mocha and the MoMA. You know, the New Yorker's written her up. Elton John's bought her stuff. Anthony Kiedis, Drew Barrymore, they all love her. And she's donated a work of art for us to auction off as well. So if someone has the potential of getting a really good deal on some modern art there. And then, Dodgers tickets, Pilates classes, the usual for a nonprofit auction.
It goes on August 17th.
Correct.
And then tickets are on the website right now, right?
Yes, the tickets have gone live while they last. I think the capacity is around 350 or 400, so we will sell out of tickets soon. But as long as they're there, labeatscancer.org, there's a link to buy the tickets.
Okay.
Or for anyone who can't make it, they can also make a donation direct. 100% of what's donated goes to UCLA, and it's going to cancer research, and it can make a difference in people's lives. Our goal is $100,000 this year. And, one thing that I've learned, something that I really wasn't aware with until I joined this terrible club, but it's amazing how many people have been touched by and affected by cancer. How many people have a story to tell when they hear my story.
Then they start talking. And then you realize so many people have friends, family, they've been touched, they've been affected by this. They understand cancer is the enemy and they all want a cure, and you're working toward research, which is that is how we find a cure and better treatment options.
Yes. And, the cure is certainly the golden ring. Mm-hmm. But in the process to getting to a cure, just getting more treatment options so that you can get another month, another week, another year, whatever it is, it's all valuable.
It's precious, that time.
It
yes.
is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And we want to make sure that the next person who hears you have cancer has a better path in front of them than what we went through. And hopefully eventually hearing you have cancer is more of an inconvenience than a terrifying experience.
Yeah, a terrifying, devastating thing to hear. And
right.
Thank you for helping others the way that you're helping people and trying to, help to create more treatment options.
Right.
In Liz's memory. And what's the website?
labeatscancer.org, and the Twitter handle is @labeatscancer.
Thank you for your commitment, Philip.
Thank you. I very much appreciate you helping us.
Glad you stopped by here at 5900 Wilshire, the name of this show and the home of 100.3 The Sound, Southern California's classic rock.